Hey everyone, Zian over here from Nintendo Life. So, like many of you, we just got done seeing the Super Mario Bros. Movie. All three of us have finally seen the movie. And after I got done with the movie, all of these different thoughts kept rushing through my head. I had all these things I wanted to talk about. So I thought it'd be fun if I sat down with the gang and kind of chatted like we're hanging out in the movie theater parking lot or in the one of the hallways of the theater, leaning up against another poster or something and talking about all of the secrets and surprises and the things we loved and the things we hated about the Super Mario Bros. Movie. And when I say we, of course that means I'm not alone. I'm joined by the fantastic Felix.
Hey, it's Felix from Nintendo Life. I'm part of the gang. Hell yeah.
Heck yeah, you are. And we're also joined by the astounding Alex.
Hey, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm under your sink. Whoa.
Whoa, I hope you're fixing it. Otherwise, you can get out.
I just like it down here, you know. It's cozy. It's cozy.
I hope. Do you have a pillow? Do you need a blanket or anything?
I'm good, mate. You crack on.
Okay. Well, thanks. All right. So, like I said, I want us to cover everything. We're not going to hold anything back in this discussion. So please, if you're listening to this and you haven't seen the movie yet and you're a Nintendo fan, then you should absolutely stop it right now.
Spoiler warning.
Yeah.
If you continue listening, what is wrong with you? Please go watch the movie instead. If you're not a Nintendo fan, sure, hang out with us. It's fine. But really, treat this as a video that you should watch after you've seen the movie. So with that out of the way, do either of you guys have something you want to talk about first?
Yeah, why we don't have any footage of the film in this video.
Oh yeah, send your regards to Universal.
Yeah, copyright issues, Universal, we just need to be careful.
So instead, have a look at this. Whoa.
Yeah.
Isn't it cool?
Isn't it weird that Punch-Out is on the screen? Guys, why would anyone do that? Do one of you know?
Punch-Out Pizzeria.
Yeah, that's where Mario gets his pizza.
So I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely loved all of the little like hidden Easter eggs that were sprinkled throughout the city of Brooklyn from classic video games. Punch-Out Pizzeria like absolutely blew me away, and because I saw the pictures on the walls of like some of the boxers and was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like those are Punch-Out characters, right? And then you finally see like the name Punch-Out Pizzeria, and it appeared way more times than I thought. I thought it was going to be one of those like blink and you miss it moments, but like Nintendo was really trying to make sure you knew it was called Punch-Out Pizzeria.
Yeah, admittedly, I didn't even notice until right at the end where, what, spoiler warning, we've already done that.
Yeah, you're good.
When they go back to Brooklyn and he like smashes through the window or something, I just happened to see Punch-Out Pizzeria and I was like, oh, you.
Yeah.
And you see that kind of background detail. I love that, you know, you see it in a lot more films now, but for a long time it was quite like specialist. I mean, you got it a bit, but nowhere near to the same kind of like density that we do now. And I'm all for that, you know, if the references that are kind of fun and, you know, are of no consequence to people who don't understand them, but the people who do are going to look at it and they go, what? I'm all for that. I love it.
Yeah, it was kind of like when I interviewed Sam Barlow about Silent Hill Shattered Memories, he talked about the fact that all of the like signage in his remake or reimagining of the game had to like have something to do with the story of the game. So like there was a mattress store that, you know, was themed around, you know, what happens in that game. And it kind of feels like Brooklyn in this sense. Everything ties back to something. I think there were a few different places, like there was like a donut shop that I couldn't like make any sense of. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but yeah, were there other businesses or things that like caught you off guard, or even, you know, Mario's bedroom is also a thing full of secrets?
Mario has a family.
He does. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, he has a family.
They weren't in his bedroom, but they were in the house.
Yes. No. Yeah. No. Well, I mean, Luigi popped in at one point, didn't he?
True.
You're right.
As he was playing Kid Icarus.
That was cool, though.
That was pretty cool. I do find it interesting that, I mean, obviously he was playing in NES because, you know, reference and all that sort of thing. But it did kind of, I don't want to say it confused the timeline, but it definitely made it feel a bit more timeless because you had, like, Luigi had a smartphone. Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
And he dabbed and he said no cap and all that sort of thing.
Wait, he did?
Luigi dabbed?
I don't think he said no cap either.
I mean, Spoiler, that's from the sequel. No, but then also you've got like Mario's playing a NES. He could have been playing a Switch, but they went with something more old school and like the arcade machine, which was called Jumpman in the Punch-Out Pizzeria. They it definitely gave it a more timeless feel, which I think is actually probably the better way to do it. They could have made it all like up to date, but you know what? Nintendo's history is large and spanning, and it's more interesting if you get more of it in there. And rather than it being like Mario dusts off his old console and they make a big deal of it, you know, sort of instead it was just, he's just playing a NES, mate, you know?
Yeah.
He's playing Kid Icarus for some reason. I don't know many people who choose to play Kid Icarus, but you know, still.
Maybe in like the 6th movie, he'll be playing Kid Icarus Uprising, and the whole like opening day, the whole crowd in every single theater is just gonna stand up and clap because that game still hasn't been re-released, and then hopefully that isn't the case exactly, you know, to that. But
I wonder whether more people would recognize the original Kid Icarus or Kid Icarus Uprising.
Oh, that's a good point. I don't know if you guys noticed too, but there were like there was a place called Discoon Hardware, I think it was, which was like maybe it was supposed to be
named after the little Famicom Disk System man.
Yeah, I'm just realizing now maybe it was supposed to be a pun on discount hardware.
Yes.
You think so?
Yes, yeah. I reckon that you're probably on the money there, yeah.
Sweet. I also, one thing I noticed too that it didn't click until later on was in Mario's bedroom. They were all right. There was like, oh gosh, what was there? There was an F-Zero, like Blue Falcon poster. There was a Kung Fu poster, and there was a baseball poster. And I was like, that doesn't really like mesh with the rest of Mario's room. And then I remembered those are like Kung Fu and baseball are also Nintendo published NES games.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, so I really just, I loved all that detail. And there's more games in there that we didn't talk about, but people can go find them for themselves. You also touched on a point that I also appreciated as well, Alex, with the Jumpman arcade cabinet.
Yes.
The whole time, like, I don't know if you noticed, but like Mario looked different on that arcade cabinet. I mean, he was called Jumpman on the arcade game itself. But then like Donkey Kong was like a Yeti instead as well.
Oh, I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, it's like weird little details like that. But the whole time when Mario was like defeated, like leaning up against that bench in the pizza Punch-Out Pizzeria parlor.
Yes, the refusal of the call that lasts about 2 minutes.
Oh yeah. I was waiting for the camera to like pan over to Jumpman, and Mario like looks at it and it zooms into Jumpman, and Mario just like has a strength given back to him, and it's really like on the nose, like please understand this, and they didn't do that. I'm very, very thankful.
Yeah. They instead a TV glitch in a way that TVs don't glitch. But you know what?
That's right.
Suspension of disbelief. Let's, you know, it's not.
It glitched back to life as a TV do.
Oh yeah. You know, when a TV smashes, you know, the screen smashes, you can still pretty much see the image. It's not, you know, like it just everything, like the liquid crystals bleed everywhere.
I mean, we could just blame it on the Mushroom Kingdom.
I'm nitpicking, but it's fun.
I do want to talk about things we don't like as well. So I personally didn't have a whole lot of nitpicks throughout the movie. I think I can probably think back and find some, but were there things that you guys necessarily like that really bothered you at specific moments or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the writing. From start to finish.
Oh, wow. That's a big nitpick.
Jeez.
No, I mean, you know, I could sit here and I've already done the video where I'm sort of lambasting, you know, sort of and giving my full thoughts.
With Jim, right?
Yeah, with good old Jim. And I fully stand by those thoughts. I do think that the film had significant problems, but I did enjoy it more than I thought I would. Is that only because I went in not expecting to enjoy it at all? I don't know. But even so, I do think that there was you know, still some good stuff in there. Absolutely. I've already mentioned things. Actually, one thing I didn't mention in the video was the sort of the Toadsworth like character. I mean, he wasn't Toadsworth, but he was a toad with like a deep voice, and they played that completely earnestly, despite how ridiculous it was. I rather enjoyed that. It wasn't like really like overly dramatic or anything like that, but he did actually seem like a sort of or like a sort of a senator or, you know, sort of someone in a position of power. And they played it, and they played it straight, which was actually really quite amusing. I really quite like that.
There was the part where like Peach runs into the castle like later on and says like everybody has to evacuate or something, and then he opens his mouth, he says something. Maybe he just tells everyone to evacuate. But now that like you're talking about that, I think thinking back on it, I thought there was going to be some dumb joke that came out of his mouth or something because of the rest of the way the movie played out. And then
or he started off with a deep voice and then he coughed and he went, "Sorry about that."
Yeah. Oh, sure.
That would have been really annoying. And I actually find it funnier that they didn't make a joke about it. It's kind of para-humor. Oh, wow, I sound pretentious.
Speaking of non-stop jokes, what did you guys think of the blue Luma that was like just
amusing
embracing
everything? First time they said something. I mean, it didn't make me laugh out loud or anything like that, but it was kind of like, oh, you know, it's cute, it's nihilistic, and then they just kept doing it over and over again, and it's like, we get it. This Luma wants to die.
I can't believe they put that in the movie. Like, I don't. It's just I'm pretty baffled by it. It feels like one of those things that like they put in to make the parents happy, or just like the teenagers or something like that. But I can't believe they just put this really sad Luma in the film. It felt very uncharacteristic. Sad. Yeah,
I found it funny, and
me too. By the way,
it was funny at first. I want to reiterate, I did enjoy it to begin with. I kind of wish they hadn't put it in the trailer, because then it would have been more of a surprise.
Okay, that's a big issue I have. I feel like everything, besides the Brooklyn stuff, was shown in the trailer. Even the ad, like everything that would have made me go, oh, this was really fun. No, everything was shown in the trailers, like to an extreme point, which, I mean, I can blame myself for watching the trailers, but that was just...
But you can't in this case, because it's Nintendo's first big movie. You I'm forgetting, you know, so I don't blame you for wanting to check up and see how it was gonna do. But did you either of you ever have a moment where you were watching it and you were just like, oh, like this is the point where I haven't seen anything yet? And then
yeah, and that's also why my favorite aspect of the movie was in Brooklyn, because they didn't really show anything from there. So all that, oh, this is new, enticing, and then they get to the Mushroom Kingdom. We've seen all the TV spots. They get to fight DK, and then they go on the Rainbow Road. They just they show DK with the Fire Flower. Like everything cool was just shown off, which is really a shame. Because it was good moments, but they showed too much of their hand, in my humble opinion.
I mean, they didn't show Ice Peach, for example.
Oh, I loved that surprise so much.
That was pretty cool. I mean, you could tell. Again, I know it's writing and it's meant to be intelligible for children and all ages and all that sort of thing. But when they said, like, Toad was like, "I got you the bouquet," and she's like, "It's perfect." It's like there's something hidden in that, isn't there?
That went completely
I didn't
over my head.
predict Ice Flower. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, sort of Peach obviously isn't going to go down without a fight, because she's just not going to go down without a fight. I must admit, I didn't get along with Bowser's depiction, like being so in love with Peach. Like, I mean, it would potentially work if he was more like possessive, but he was being really lovey-dovey, and it didn't mesh. And I don't know, maybe I'm just being too picky with it, but
maybe you can blame that on Jack Black. I'm not sure, but
yeah, possibly.
For me, like, Bowser stole the show. He was the highlight of the movie. I found it so funny. Like the part where he sings like peaches, peaches,
peaches, peaches, peaches.
That was
peaches.
So funny. Like, I really laughed out loud, and it was like, my theater wasn't very crowded. We had some kids, we had some adults, and most of the jokes landed. My God, the children, I said, they talked so much. It was so annoying. Like, at some point, there was a guy behind. He's just yelled, "Ah!" And they got really quiet for 10 minutes, and then they started doing it again.
Like, were they talking, or were they laughing?
Talking.
Oh,
like,
gosh, sorry.
And then when the Luma at the end comes up and, says, I don't know what it says.
Play the saxophone or something. Yeah.
And
when something's over, I want to play the saxophone. It made no sense.
And the little kid just stands up and says, "Shut up!" and nobody laughed. Like, she tried all the time to be really funny, and it was just so annoying.
Oh.
Yeah. But. I think I also really found funny was the Mario didn't like mushrooms. It was overplayed a little bit.
Oh yeah.
It was overplayed, but when again, it's going back to Brooklyn. Everything good goes back to Brooklyn. When he's in Brooklyn and he's there and he gets the spaghetti put in front of him, he just goes, I hate mushrooms. That tickled me. And I thought, that's a nice little thing. And then they were just like, oh. And I was like, oh, it's going to come up again because obviously it's Mario. And he's there with Peach and he's like, oh, did it have to be mushrooms? And then it's like, yep. And it's like, he has to eat it again and again and again.
I actually quite like it there, but they kept playing on it even later.
Yeah, he
multiple
times. Flew through mushrooms, which were weirdly wet inside. I hasten to point out the mushrooms suspend the water inside them in a very different manner. They wouldn't be wet going through them unless it had been raining recently, which it clearly hadn't. But
Alex here with the real, like, why he didn't like the movie. Wet mushrooms.
Wet mushrooms, man. They don't exist. I mean, they do.
This is just going to turn into a mushroom YouTube channel. Maybe next year, April Fools, it could just be entirely about mushrooms. You know so much about them.
I don't know that much about them. I really don't. But I'm hoping I'll learn more on my foraging course. What did you guys think of Cranky Kong? Like, he was in it about 5 times as much as I expected him to be. And he wasn't really very cranky, was he?
I really didn't like the voice actor they chose for Cranky Kong. I didn't feel it fit at all.
I actually really like Fred Armisen quite a bit from like Portlandia and some of the other things he's done, and I hated him here.
Yeah.
It did not feel like Cranky Kong. Like there were times where I was like, is this even Fred? And that's maybe not a bad thing. Maybe that's a good thing that he disguised his voice enough. But I didn't really think it fit Cranky.
No.
Yeah, it's not. Maybe you already said this, but yeah, he didn't really feel like cranky enough.
Yeah, he didn't feel cranky at all.
No, exactly.
Hello. Do you want my army?
Yeah,
no. Oh, we're not leaving until we do. Okay. Arbitrary combats. Beat my son.
Yeah, like
for some reason now Donkey Kong the Third is just Donkey Kong. The second. Yeah, because obviously they basically, I mean, I don't want to start getting into canon, but you know, Cranky Kong I think is in the games Cranky Kong is DK's grandfather.
That sounds right.
I believe, and so it's sort of suggested that the current Donkey Kong is the son of Donkey Kong Jr. But here it's like his son, and this DK yeah.
So maybe the real Cranky Kong is out there somewhere and we just haven't met him yet.
Maybe he'll be a ghost. Maybe that's Cranky Kong the Second, and the Cranky Kong that we've seen in the games is Cranky Kong the First. No, I don't know. And not important. What is important is that Seth Rogen did nothing for me, and I just felt that DK as a character was just kind of like one-dimensional. I mean, I felt quite a few of the characters were a little bit one-dimensional, but DK especially, it's like, oh, dancing pecs, and they do that joke like 3 times, and it's like, it wasn't funny the first time. I'm fairly certain gorillas cannot flex their. I'm not going to get into the reality of it, but it was it was funny to suggest.
I'm pretty sure that mushrooms can't talk, Alex. So
I felt that Toad was underused. I think
Toad wasn't in it at all. I don't remember. And
he was like, he sees Mario for the first time, and then he's like, you should go and see the princess. We're off on an adventure, and it's like, what? You just met this man.
Some food.
You are escorting him, and it's like, I don't know. I felt like Toad especially, like, potentially had the role changed numerous times in writing,
probably,
and was underutilized. Could have been more fun. I saw the big car thing coming a mile off.
That was weird though, actually, because I know they showed the big car in the trailer, but like Toad went up kind of like looking like he was just gonna push random buttons, and then he gets the big car and he's like, check me out.
Like, look at my whip, dudes.
Yeah, you didn't pick that, or you intentionally did, but you made it look like you weren't going to. And like, Yeah, so I hated that little scene with Toad in the car.
Also, what was with the Kong mechanic that each of them had building their carts, and then it was all built by machine? Like, were they just supervising?
Maybe the idea was like you select what you want, and then the Kong is like, okay, yeah, all right.
Sorry, did you say the Kong was like, okay?
And then they bang their chest, and then they move the things, and then the car's done. Boom. Bing bada boom.
Bada
I actually
boom.
really liked.
Brooklyn.
I really like the dynamic between Mario and DK. Like they just both hated each other, and they kept playing on that even when they were inside the eel.
Yeah, I think I would have enjoyed that more if they'd spent more time exploring it.
True.
Like they'd set it up a little bit more. But we see DK for the first time like halfway through the film, and they're like, oh, they're competitive, and then within about 20 minutes they're best friends.
Well, not really. They keep saying that they hate each other and stuff. Like for the whole film, they never like.
But I don't know. It's. I mean, it's not exactly especially original dynamic, but it's a dynamic that works. I just wish they'd spent. I wish they'd spent more time on it. I wish they'd spent more time. I wish they'd spent more time on everything, to be honest, except the Luma and the mushroom joke.
I mean, it did feel like that they had a lot of stuff crammed in, and they didn't want to like make it a 2-hour movie. They had to like make it a 1.5-hour movie for also for kids, so they can sit through it all. And it did feel a bit rushed at some places. Like you have a lot of time in Brooklyn, like we've said. You know, you have the whole. It spends a long time there, and then he gets to the Mushroom Kingdom, and beep it about, and it just like, boom, 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 right?
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
So Alex has to dash, so Felix and I are going to carry this conversation still, because we still have things we want to say, and hopefully you want to hear them. But thank you for being here, Alex. He's already gone.
Bye-bye.
Everybody can wave in the distance. Maybe mail him a mushroom, because it's his favorite food, we learned, right? And he's not here, so he can't.
Okay, I want to talk about the music, Sion, because on one hand, it was absolutely brilliant, and another, I was very confused by the music choices, like the licensed 80s.
I absolutely feel you.
Yeah, because the first like part of the movie, I felt, oh, the music is incredible, and then they get to Kong, like the Kong Kingdom, and Take On Me starts playing.
Yeah.
What?
I love that song, but
no,
it did feel
the
weird.
songs the songs in the movie are fantastic. But it was just so weird where they were placed. It really bothered me.
Yeah, it did. I completely agree. You know, the Nintendo has enough amazing tracks for Mario that I think the whole movie could have just been Mario music, right? And it would have been just.
Why not have some Donkey Kong music, where they're driving through the Kong? Like it felt so misplaced, and then we're gonna drive Mario Kart, let's hear some Thunderstruck, woohoo!
Yeah, this almost feels like some kind of weird, like, I don't know if this is really real, you know, and maybe we'll never get an answer to this, but it feels like somebody made a business, some suit at Universal was like, hey, Chris and Miyamoto-san, like, I really think we should have this like cool music in there, and they pushed really hard for it because then that person was going to get a cut of royalties or something like that. You know, I don't know. Maybe it was to make the soundtrack.
Or it could just have been like, we need music that everyone knows. Like people don't know the Mario music. But
sure, but I do agree. Like it didn't. It felt forced at times, right? Because it was so
felt very
much.
forced.
Like there was the I Need a Hero played, I think, during like the training montage, and then like AC/DC played at one point.
Yeah, the Thunderstruck when they're making the card.
Oh yeah, right.
There was like Mr. Blue Sky fitted all right, but the others I didn't feel it at all.
Yeah.
But let's change to a more positive note. Like the music, otherwise, like the orchestrated, absolutely incredible. Like when they're driving, like when they're also like. Just when they've made the cards, you hear like bum ba da bum, like when you actually make the cards.
Yeah, you're right.
That was awesome. And when they're first going through the Mushroom Kingdom, like it's like a medley of a lot of different sounds, and they go down to the sewers in Brooklyn. You hear doo 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 doo. Like
yeah, and there was a little like level 1-2. On the wall, there was like a sign in there, and I was like, I'm so bad. I was just like, don't. I wanted to tell Fallon, who was sitting next to me, but I was like, just. There's going to be tons of moments like this, Xeon. Just keep it together. It's fine.
Yeah.
But you're right. The music was really nice in that part, too.
And if anyone wants to hear it, the full soundtrack of the movie is actually on Spotify and stuff right now.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's already out. And I've spent today listening to some of it. It's brilliant.
One thing that was thinking about while watching the movie in regards to the music, or that kind of changed my thoughts, was I think this was like 20 minutes into the film, and I was like, you know what? A lot of us like really dogged on the idea that like Illumination was making this movie. We were really nervous about it because of Despicable Me, but 20 minutes in, because of all those Brooklyn scenes, I was just like, you know what? I like this.
Yeah, this
I'm
is
happy
absolutely
with where it's
amazing.
At. Yeah, and there was a point where I was like, you know, if Illumination made a Legend of Zelda movie, I think I'd be fine with it. But then when all of the licensed... Actually, no, I was 100% certain that I was okay with a Zelda movie by Illumination. And then all of the licensed music kept coming in, and I was like, no, if they put like Eye of the Tiger in when Link's like learning how to use a sword or like something like that, you know, I won't be able to forgive them. So it
may be a bit harsh, but seriously, it really took me out of the experience when those songs just randomly popped in.
Yeah.
And I
did feel like they were just trying to make a soundtrack, right?
It felt like those also added to the feeling that I've seen a lot of people say on Twitter, that it's just a bunch of like scenes just quick after each other. And I would say I really like the movie. Otherwise, I do have my nitpicks, and I also agree with some of Alex's, like the writing isn't the best and stuff, but it was really fun and like visually beautiful. Really, really knocked it out of the park. Illumination within it. Like, we need to talk about that for a second.
Yeah, I really appreciated the way that everything, like that all the different scenes were kind of handled. Like there was even the part with the like the bullet bill when Mario has the raccoon suit and he's flying like and chasing down the bullet bill, and what he like kicks or like punches, I think he kicks it or flies into the eyeball of the bullet bill, and then it just
he tickles it with his his tail, I think.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That makes sense too, because of course he's got the tail. But like the eye just like slowly twists and like looks at him. And there's all these little details like that were really, really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really dug that.
I mean, like when they're walking to the Kong Kingdom, there's all these beautiful shots of they're going through a desert and they're going through the cheaps and stuff, even though we'd seen it in the trailers, but it was still beautiful shots.
Yeah. Did you notice, remember in one of the trailers we saw the Cheep like they're Peach, Toad, and Mario are walking on the bridge, and we see the Cheep like fly into the air and like latches on Mario's face.
Yeah.
In one of the trailers, we see that's like a full scene where like Peach is like ripping the Cheep off of Mario's face.
Yeah, it just fades out.
Yeah, they cut that scene out. Like, isn't that like, yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes from the trailers. But
speaking of stuff they cut out, they really did Chris Pratt dirty in the trailers. He was all right in the movie.
I'm glad you're bringing this up because I actually agree as well. I think a lot, you know, I think I speak for pretty much all of us when I say that, you know, we were all not looking forward to Chris Pratt, but by the end of the film, I had no problems with him anymore.
No.
It was like, I think he actually did a convincing job of just being a Mario, like that you know, we could sit through and listen to him talk for an hour and a half, and it didn't irk me at all.
I also really like the way they almost explained why he sounded like that in the start, because you hear his accent in the trailer, and then after you hear it's like a bit he's doing for the trailer, and the costume is also like a bit because they want to brand recognition and all that stuff, and I thought that was really clever. But I'm still sad that they didn't go with Charles Martinet, because you hear him as Mario's dad or something like that, and you also hear him as a Jumpman at the arcade.
See, that I didn't notice. Fallon did, but that one completely slipped by me, but his dad I at least picked up on.
Yeah, and it's just, he could have easily made a brilliant Mario. Like, he's a very, very good voice actor. So I know why they went with Chris Pratt, but if I could have chosen, I would have chosen the OG Charles Martinet.
Maybe they would have wanted to like tone down Charles's voice for this new version of Mario.
He can totally do that. Like, you hear his stats,
well,
that wasn't like bad to listen to.
That's a good point. And I don't know, maybe it would have felt different, I guess, if we would have had like that version of Mario talking in a different way. I don't know. I'm trying to just make sense of it again. But I think you're right. There probably is just the like, maybe you were going to say the star power of Chris Pratt maybe is also just why they picked him
it's definitely
as well. But I'm excited to hear him as Garfield now, though, because you know we see Chris Pratt has some range.
Oh yeah, Charlie Day did a fantastic job as Luigi, though. That was good. And again, Jack Black just stole the show, in my opinion. He's so good at Bowser, as Bowser. I found it really fun.
I really like Jack Black a lot as well, though. I thought he did a great job. His love for Peach was ridiculous.
And you got to hear the song at the end again. That was lovely.
Yeah, and it was the tiny version, like that final fight scene, right? Like that song was strung together so well. And I don't even remember. Oh, it was like a rendition of the like Invincibility. Music,
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Yeah.
And I loved that it was Mario and Luigi, because I was full like just ready for it to be Mario. You know, this is mostly a Mario and Peach movie, really. But then like Luigi came in and protected him, and then like Mario stuck his hand out and said like, "Come with me, brother." Yeah. Like, you're supposed to bring balance to the Force as well. and then they took down Bowser together, and that was I don't know, maybe it's just the Nintendo in us or in me, but like that whole scene just got me really,
huge Luigi stan, so I am also very happy. Yeah. Luigi all the way.
Good. How did you feel about the part where he almost got eaten by dry bones? Like, where he's like just running, or maybe not fully eaten, but like we're just running away from like all of them, and like hides in the castle, and he defeats one and then makes a joke, and then it comes back to life.
Oh my god, that was my favorite part of the movie, when he goes, "Yeah, you just got Luigi."
Gosh,
I laughed so hard in the cinema.
Oh, good.
It was, oh my god, it was just, I found that real. I didn't think they would do a joke like that, because
for real. This scene reminded me of back like when I was a kid and I would play Mario games. Like, dry bones were always just like this really horrific kind of like, they're kind of like the re-deads, I guess, of Mario for me.
Yeah.
I think, because they're just, they're really creepy, and they make like this weird little like briddly like sound.
They've really been downgraded. Like over the years, they aren't really scary.
Absolutely.
But it's in that scene, they were terrifying.
Right, like, if we were like 6-year-olds watching this movie, like I feel like we would have like, you know, like turned our heads away or something into our parents and like said like, "Tell us when it's gone" or something.
But what I really enjoyed about the movie, like the first 20 minutes, it made me feel like a kid again. It was like, I would have absolutely loved this as a kid, this movie. And when I eventually get kids, I'll show them this movie, and they'll probably really like it, because at the end of the day, it is a fun movie to watch. Maybe not the most like detailed plots, but for Mario fans and us, like, if there's any issues, they're overshadowed by the tremendous attention to detail in the animation. And
I think I really agree with you here. I know, obviously, like Jim and Alex, like they already talked a bunch about their thoughts in kind of like a spoiler-free video, which, please, if you haven't watched that yet, we'll leave a link in the description down below where you can get more of their feelings on it. But I think as well, like I guess, sure, when I think about the story, I do wish that it you know, I wish it was more inventive or had a bigger impact. But I really liked the way that like Mario kind of was this like normal dude, and like his dad eventually came to like accept him, and he like, and Peach, like, you know, wasn't a jerk about the fact that he couldn't complete that like challenge on the first try. And they really got along together, and Bowser was a jerk throughout, you know, but it really felt like you got to see like Mario was like just trying to make people happy, right? And and it felt like I don't want to say he was rewarded for it, but you got to see his like how earnest he was and just how genuine of a dude Mario is. And I think maybe that's why people like him so much. It's just because he's just a plumber who like goes on crazy adventures. But you really kind of feel that in this movie, don't you?
Oh yeah. And you also talked about this, but Peach is depicted completely different than what we see here. I mean, sometimes we see you know, that side of Peach, but most oftenly in the Mario games, she's just the damsel in distress. And here, she most certainly was not. She was the tough princess who could complete the course. That was cool scene.
Yeah, that was sweet. Yeah, and it makes so much more sense now too why they cast like is it Anya, or I think is
Anya Taylor? Yeah, Anya Taylor.
Anya?
I don't know how to pronounce.
I was stoked that she was the voice, and then the first few minutes, she felt kind of weird.
Yes.
To me, you felt the same.
I did.
And then by the end of it, like I was just like, no, it makes sense. Like they had this vision for Peach that they wanted to, this way they wanted to depict her, and I think she fit that role very, very well.
Yes.
And I liked that. I liked the little things as well about. I think that the last thing I want to say, at least, is I love the way that they used this movie kind of in a way to make a lot of sense of things.
Mm-hmm.
So like Peach, for example, here, we find out that in this movie she's okay to marry Bowser because Bowser's going to destroy the Mushroom Kingdom otherwise.
Yeah.
Wherein other Mario games, it always feels like Peach, like, why are you doing this? Why would you go with him? He captured you. Like, don't you have guards? Like, can't you stomp on him? Like, what? Why?
She did it to save the kingdom, essentially.
Yeah, right. And it felt like it gave reasoning to different things. Kind of like you were saying earlier as well, with the like Mario and Luigi's costumes are just that. They're costumes, and they happen to get pulled into the Mushroom Kingdom while they're wearing their costumes, while they're working. So it's like. The same with even like the mushrooms. The fact that like Mario doesn't like them is so like real world, because I think a lot of us humans don't like mushrooms. So it's like there were just so many little details that like got explained and given more context, or allowed us to kind of laugh about those like thoughts that we've already had. And
I laughed a lot during this movie. I know that a lot of people didn't. The jokes didn't land, but I think I have very simple humor. It's very easy to make me laugh, and the movie did.
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah, but I found the movie funny. I want to say also last thing, the end credit scene. Ooh.
Oh, right.
Yoshi!
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was blank. I was thinking about the Luma with the saxophone. I was like, the end credits? What else happened there? But I forgot about the Yoshi egg.
Does that mean we get a Yoshi movie?
I think we have to do a video, Felix, where we talk about what the Mario movie 2 could look like. Because obviously, this movie, I think, has done well. I haven't seen box office numbers yet.
It's done really well. It's like, I think it's the best performing video game movie of all time in like the first day or something.
Wow. Okay. Off the top of your head, is there anything that you would like to see done? I think differently, very much the music. We don't have to probably talk about that anymore. But is there anything else that you would like to see done different with a Mario movie 2, or like a different direction, or with that Yoshi egg? Like,
I mean, I would like to see more characters from the Mario universe. Wario, Waluigi, Daisy. I would like to see them explore more parts of, like, maybe we go and see Rosalina in space, or we go and see some more different biomes in the Mario universe. There's so much there's still so much untapped material that they could go from. Or maybe we can just see more stuff in Brooklyn, see what they get up to there. What's gonna happen now? Yeah, I feel there's definitely room for a second movie. They could do so much, I think. And there's also other enemies, like other. I mean, Wario could also be a good villain.
True, the Koopa Kids as well, which we had a little nod to, like Lemmy Koopa was on the piano, or was it Ludwig actually? Ludwig von Koopa or something that was maybe written on Bowser's piano when he was like first playing, and they zoomed in on the screen there.
Oh yeah,
or on the piano. But you're right, like there are different directions I think they can take the villains. Maybe Bowser can be like a backseat villain, or maybe he joins Mario and the team.
They do that sometime, right? Bowser joins the team, and I really like when that happens. So
yeah, even the Mario RPG games have like tons of weird little villains that that are not coming to my head because I haven't played all of those games, and now I want to. But
maybe we see the bunnies from Mario Odyssey.
Yeah. Did you say Bowser Jr. yet either? Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Why wasn't he in the movie? Like, that's definitely, he has to be in the second one.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like, at first I was a little nervous as well about like how many things they were throwing into this film. I think I've talked about that before as well, that I thought in the trailers, I thought there were too many power-ups and too many like enemy things happening, and but I really felt that it was handled pretty well. Like I think the cat suit actually got enough time. I think the raccoon suit got enough time. Yeah, I liked it. Like I was waiting for the meow part to like kick in because I knew it was there, but
I think overall we liked it, you and me. Alex was a bit more negative towards it. I think he's just more analytical of it, where that's totally fine. But I think that for me, I didn't really care too much about if the writing was good or if it was bad, just because there was so much stuff happening on screen. It was just, I don't know, it was fun adventure with Mario and Luigi and Peach and Toad and Donkey Kong. And okay, I could go on.
And there's one final thing as well that I wanted to mention that I think is specifically because you're here.
Yes.
Is so you know the intro scene with Mario and Luigi where they're like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? They're like running to a job or they're running home or something. I don't even remember. They're running somewhere.
Yeah.
And the camera pans to the side and it's them like running through Brooklyn and like Mario's like knocking stuff over and making bridges for Luigi.
Yeah.
And Luigi's, you know, they're tag teaming and running together and making sure that neither of them get left behind. I want the It Takes Two developers to make a co-op only Mario and Luigi game.
Oh, and it's in Brooklyn, and it's about like them having a job and stuff, and they have to have to fight the dog of the apartment.
Right. It doesn't, honestly, I don't even care where it's set.
Honestly,
I just
love
think that mechanic.
Yeah.
Like we have like Mario 3D World, right? Is a co-op game.
No, but like a co-op only Mario game would be really sick. So why don't we team up and finish this video now? Because we've been rambling for a while.
That's true. Hey, and that's the point. Remember, this is supposed to feel like a movie theater parking lot where people are like, hey, I think I got to go let the dog out. I'm going to head home. Someone's like, hey, Felix, do you want to go to Taco Bell after this, actually? We can keep talking about the movie. That's what also happens.
Like, I'm in the parking lot right now. You've pulled me right into that.
Good. I hope people feel like they're there because obviously it needs to be. If we're in a parking lot, it needs to be rambly. But you're right. We can close off this video. So please let us know in the comments down below if you've seen the Super Mario Bros. Movie. If you listen to our words of warning in the beginning of this video, hopefully that means that you have seen the movie. Let us know down below. If there's a particular scene in the movie that really, you know, surprised you or made you happy or made you upset, you know, let us know what stood out to you. If you saw the duck hunt sign and you screamed at your partner, duck hunt, you know, let us know because that was the one time that I let it out in the film. Let us know about those things. And of course, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like this, then why don't you punch that subscribe button like it's a question block with a star inside, and then ring that notification bell like a bell, and you're now Cat Mario.
And check out our Discord server. Woo!
That's right. We have a Discord server now. If you're behind on the times, it's okay. I was away for a few weeks and haven't gotten to hang out in as much, but I'm home now.
Yeah, we can talk about the Mario movie in there.
Yeah, that's true. We can take the parking lot to the Discord server.
That's where we're going. That's our Taco Bell.
Perfect. Thank you, Felix, for joining me for this chat. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and thank you, Alex. Even though you had to dash, it was nice to have you at the start.
You're welcome, Felix.
Oh, wow. Best Alex impression I've ever heard.
Hello there, lovely. Just kidding. That's all you get. Stay safe out there, and we will see you all next time.
Bye-bye. Why wasn't the duck hunt duo the dog, like, in the apartment? It was just a random dog.
Yo, actually, I think there was a duck hunt dog painting on the wall in that apartment, but I can't. Like, it was there for 3 seconds, and I can't go back. Oh, okay. Like, am I going to see the movie again just to look for the duck hunt dog?
Relatable.